All right, today we're talking about direct mail in 2025. I've seen a number of posts on social media from some of the people with big land groups about how direct mail doesn't work. Uh, yeah, hint here, I've been hearing this since I started in business, almost 8 years ago. So this is nothing new, but a lot of people are thinking this. And so Mason and I are going to talk a bit about what is working in 2025 for investors and the realtor side, since Mason's also selling land for people.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun conversation because it works, guys. The greatest wealth transfer in history, the great reshuffling, all the stuff that everyone's talking about is happening now, and it's happening with the demographic that responds to mail still. Yeah, social media might work. Yeah, cold calling works, and texting works, and email works, and everything works. But we have had so much consistent response with mail over the years that why would we ever stop? It just works. But I think where people might fail is on some of the back end. So I think we'll spend like maybe a minute or two here kind of explaining of, hey, here's what you need in place before you just start sending letters. We love the action takers and the people that go out there and just get started without really thinking. But what you need to be conveying, because you get so much mail all the time and so many responses and everything, is legitimacy and authenticity. And I think that having a website is huge. Having reviews are huge. Having just any sort of presence online specific to your business is absolutely essential in this day and age, because even though people might respond to a direct mail, piece of marketing, they're going to look you up first. And what does your business's online presence look like? Dan, I know you've gotten deals from that, right?
Yeah, this is something we focused on this year, and it has made such a difference. It's so funny, man. I remember late last year, so many people that are selling courses on land were saying direct mail isn't working. You need to do PPC and cold calling and blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, direct mail is going to work better now that they're telling everyone that this doesn't work, and it has. It has been great for us this year, and part of that is because we revamped exactly how we're going to talk about. And so to everything Mason just said, one of the most effective things has been the online presence. So every week I post from our Facebook, Front Range Land Facebook, about the houses we're building, projects we're doing, seller problems we've solved, quiet title, liens we negotiated for sellers, stuff like that. And then we've been consistently getting good reviews on Google, Trustpilot, and Better Business Bureau. And this has helped tremendously. Our my acquisition guys have told me over and over again, hey, this seller called in and said they liked our online presence, and so they felt comfortable calling us. And so if you're new, you can still be quick and be an action taker and get this stuff set up in one day, right? Set up a Facebook profile, a website, even a very simple website will help, and a Google business profile, and start getting reviews right off the bat.
Yeah, something that I wish I had gotten started, a long, long time ago. And I think, depending on the business and everything, we might be afraid to get reviews because you know that you're making money off these people and everything like that. But if you operate, with trust and authenticity, people are going to be happy. You solve their problems for them. So
Yep.
I think, getting into the actual tactics of direct mail, first postcard we'll show you guys is actually for my realtor business, which we've got a ton of leads from it. We've got one deal that's actually closing directly as a response to this mailer. And this is what it looks like right here. It says, "Are you tired of lowball offers on your land?" Which is a play off of all of the crappy direct mail that so many people are sending. Don't settle for, lowball cash offers, call me. My face is on it. We're experts in land, all this different stuff. So we sent out, I don't know, about 1,300, and I'm making about 14,000 on this. So ROAS on this is, more than 10x, from one deal. And then we have multiple other deals in the pipeline that we're going to nurture from the leads we've gotten from this. So potential return on this, first batch of mailer from the realtor side of things is, way over 10x is what I anticipated. But I think it's a few things that I want to point out here is like, it's clean. The property photo that we used here looks like the land in eastern Colorado, in the foothills that people actually own that we're targeting. Um, Having my face on here makes it so where people realize it's an actual person and not some like big giant corporation. I have a local mailbox in Colorado Springs. I focus on we're your neighbors. We're local Colorado land specialists. We're a call or text away. It's got phone, email, and website, and then all the compliance stuff, on the realtor side of things. So we've had a great response to that. And I mean, that's as a realtor, guys. Like, I think that realtors probably aren't spending as much on direct mail as I am, and it's yielding tons of results.
Yeah, it's funny. Even out here in San Diego, one of my buddies who does luxury houses in Del Mar, he gets deals in such a competitive area from direct mail. So you're absolutely right. Now, for the investors out there, let me show you what's working on that side of things. So also a Colorado postcard, and the list I have here is legitimacy, competency, avoiding all the scammy sounding verbiage that most people use, local, if possible, local knowledge for sure. Um, and yeah, those were my main points. So, what do I mean by that? Well, Front Range Land, Colorado, obviously, right? Very localized, the whole branding. This is a picture I took from the top of an iconic hike in Colorado Springs, so everybody recognizes Pikes Peak. And actually, this misaligned, so this should have been corrected. That's my mistake. But um, mentioning that we're local, we took this picture from the top of the incline, Better Business Bureau logo, right? When they Google us, they see lots of good reviews, and you don't see anything about quick cash close. We talk about the things that really stand out as problems for these people. You're paying tax, you're not using the land, there's an opportunity cost, right? So this tagline has worked really well for us. Title issues, probate, back taxes, lien, we can fix them all and you don't have to pay for them out of pocket. That has worked very, very well for us. So this and versions of this, because we have North Carolina versions, we have South Carolina versions, have been incredibly helpful. And in some of those markets where Front Range Land obviously doesn't ring the bell as local like it does in Colorado, we'll take the time to actually take photos or GIS views of lots in a subdivision that we bought and are marketing to. Hey, this is a lot we bought in Sea Watch last month. We'd like to buy yours too. We can negotiate HOA liens for you, which almost all the lots in that neighborhood have. Right? That has worked so well. There was one I sent, I think it was like 450 postcards in one neighborhood. We got like 7 or 8 deals out of that. I mean, it's crazy. It's because it was so specifically branded. So, focusing on legitimacy, competency in your field, having that back end online when they Google you, and avoiding the scammy, quick cash close kind of crap that most people put on here has really paid off.
I think that's all great advice right there. And I feel like what you're able to achieve is only possible because you've been doing business in that particular market or markets long enough to understand what the pain points are, where you can still use some of the like more commonplace language uh, for your deals in order to get, a response of recently in Colorado in the past couple of years, property taxes on vacant land have gone way, way up. And so we, made a play on it. And I think something that we really try to do, at least on the front side of a lot of our postcards, is differentiate ourselves from other people. Of, this one's maybe a little more common, but it looks different than other people. But something that we've had a lot of success with is, I mean, really personalize your brand. Of I
Yeah.
paid for professional photo shoot for my dogs. My company's name is Golden. It's got the golden retriever side of things, and people see this and they're more likely to take a look at it because they don't think it's just the same, like we buy land for cash or we buy houses for cash. They're like, am I getting a call from my vet, or what is going on here?
Mhm.
And we focus on stewardship and some of the similar stuff, zero commissions, we pay all closing costs, like stuff that is standard that people expect to hear. But I do think by really personalizing and individualizing it, it makes it so where you're a person that they're calling and talking to, which is why putting your face on it is always a really, potentially a good idea, or your family on it, if you feel comfortable doing that. It's like the idea of people honking at each other in traffic because they have this barrier of their car around them. If
Mhm.
you have the opportunity to humanize yourself and humanize your business, you're going to have a really great time, getting high levels of responses. Because we are getting deals on these postcards that we're showing you right
Yep.
now.
Yep. Yeah. No, that was well said. That last point of being able to humanize yourself so you're not just some faceless corporation, but just, a small business owner in town. That makes a big difference into how people will respond and how many people will respond. And using your dogs that way, That was smart, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
you know, we're trying to keep this relatively short. So one thing we're not doing, or I'm personally not doing in my business anymore, I'm not sending blind offers.
Same.
I've pretty much resolved myself to entirely neutral letters, postcards, or blank offers. Same thing as a blind offer, intro page, and then a blank purchase and sale agreement. And in the intro page, we say, uh, in order to make this a fair negotiation, we've left this purchase and sale agreement blank. Fill in your price, send it back to us. And we've gotten a decent response from that. Reason we're not doing blind offers anymore, it's just too hard to accurately price every single lot. You know, there's so many differences from neighborhood to neighborhood. If water lines or sewer lines stop, you know, if there's elevated, whatever it might be, it's too hard to price accurately, and it wastes our time, and we just don't get as much of a response anymore. And I use that marketing for you guys that are really bad at sending blind offers. So it gets me more business by doing it that way. But Dan, anything else you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, just highlighting what you just said of what are the frustrations of the seller. So I didn't point it out, but my postcard said to receive an offer that we'll actually stick to, and will actually stick to is underlined because so many of these people have wasted their time with putting their lots under contract, not being able to close. And so, what are they frustrated with? And address that. For a long time, I had my tagline, and this worked for years down in Florida where it was really busy and people were getting a million offers every week. It was tired of fake offers. We send proof of funds. And that worked. And that worked. So, same idea. So, just like any sort of marketing, think of what's on your seller's mind, what are their motivations, pain points, and address them in your verbiage, in your copy. So,
There we go. There you guys have
yeah.
it. This is how, you know, two of us are making lots and lots of money still by sending mail. So
Yep.
feel free to take our advice or don't take our advice. It just means more for us. So thanks for coming this week, guys.